Hey folks, Hoosier fans. My name is Greg Murray coming to you here on Zoom. We are starting up some new content. Every week we'll get a chance to learn a little bit more about some of Indiana University's finest student athletes. We'll talk about their game. We'll talk about what makes them tick and anything and everything in between. Now we dive into our first episode. We have a great show here, and I'm not doing this by myself. I have a co-host with me, Griffin Gonzalez. He is an IU student. You may recognize him from the Hoosier Network, and also you may recognize him from Assembly Hall, the on-court MC at the women's basketball games here this season. Griffin, welcome aboard, and we have a great show here for episode 1.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Griffin Gonzalez here. And let me tell you, getting to be on the floor at Assembly Hall, there's one player who is so explosive, so fun to watch, and not going to lie, a little quiet, but today we're going to get to crack her open and get to talk to her about what her life is like and what quarantine has been like with the one, the only, Grace Berger.
Without further ado, let's get to our conversation. Grace Berger, coming right up. All right, our first guest here on the program is sophomore guard Grace Berger. I guess now that finals week is in the books, junior guard Grace Berger. I think you're officially a junior right now. Grace, welcome. We appreciate you taking some time to chat with us. How weird does that sound that you have a junior in front of your name, that you're already 2 years done with college?
It's surreal. It still feels like I'm a freshman, so it's crazy to think about that.
Where are you at right now? I think with every Zoom interview we have, I think we need to speculate. Are you home? Are you in Bloomington? Where are you, and how are you holding up?
I'm home right now in Louisville, Kentucky, and I doing the best I can to stay busy and just taking it day by day.
Definitely. Well, we're going to talk on several different topics here. We'll talk basketball, obviously, the reason that brought you to Indiana, but we want to get to know you a little bit off the floor as well. But I want to start with all of the COVID-19 and how it's affecting sports and things like that. From the women's basketball team, you guys were in a unique spot of between the conference tournament and the NCAA tournament. You guys have had such a fabulous year and were poised to do something really special come March Madness. Could you walk us through what those days and even the hours were like when the news was breaking that things were starting to get postponed and then canceled, and obviously how that affected your season? What was that like inside the locker room, and how did you guys go about that situation?
It was crazy because just a few days before that, we were playing in the Big Ten tournament, and you didn't even really know that much about the coronavirus, and we never thought in a million years that it would turn out to be what it is. But that week we got a few days off, so Coach Morton gave us a few days off to just focus on school for a few days and just kind of let our bodies recover, so we weren't around each other too much. But obviously just with social media, we were seeing things, and I was starting to get a little nervous, and then they obviously said that they were playing without fans. But I was still just excited that the NCAA tournament was coming up, whether there were fans or not, just the opportunity to travel and play in it. But then I think when we started to really get nervous and realize, that it could potentially be canceled was when Rudy Gobert of the NBA tested positive, and then we kind of figured that it would probably be canceled.
That seems like that evening, you mentioned Rudy Gobert, just when so many things were happening, that's going to be down the road a where were you moment as all of that news, those couple of hours broke and everything changed, and everything's still changing. Here we are in the middle of May. Grace, you finished up your sophomore year and had just a dramatic improvement from the hard work that you put in the off season, that jump from freshman to sophomore. How do you put a bow on that second year at IU? How do you summarize the growth that you've had in 2 years with this program?
I think it just is a reflection of my teammates and my coaches, and just what they bring every day to get the best out of me and putting me in an environment where I can be my best. And I think last season I saw what I could do, and it just makes me even more excited to build on that and be much better in the future.
And Grace, already halfway done with your career at Indiana. I know that's crazy to think about, but when you look at your first 2 years, what's the biggest lesson, the takeaway that you kind of gotten out of it, whether it be on the floor or off of it?
I mean, I think just realizing, people say it all the time that hard work pays off, but nothing has shown that more than my college experience so far. And just, there's days where you're putting in work and you're like, what's really the point of this? Hours of workouts every day in the off season, during the season, and all that. But I think just seeing the results from that it's just a really rewarding process, and just realizing the importance of hard work and what it can do for you.
And you look at, I know Greg touched on it a few minutes ago, your jump from your freshman, sophomore year, and with the cancellation of the NCAA, I know a player like is probably already back in the driveway, back at work. Oh, what's the big goal for you in this offseason? What area of game do you really want to work on this year?
There's a couple of different things. I think definitely my footwork around the rim and not being so reliant on my pull-up jump shot. And then just keep searching for consistency with my three-point shot. And then off the court, just working on my body. And we've been lifting weights as a team and doing some conditioning on my own. So just doing whatever I can to get better.
Grace, through this whole process, you mentioned doing some workouts and just being connected with the team. How different it's obviously been very different, but what have you guys been able to do to try and stay close, whether it be on Zoom or chatting on the phone? I mean, what do you guys do as teammates to stay close during this time? You guys are obviously in many, many different locations all over the country.
I mean, honestly, we're all so close. We're all really each other's best friends. So we're pretty much doing everything you can to stay in contact. We're Zooming a couple times a week together. We, text constantly in our group message, and we call each other, FaceTime each other, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, really everything. We love each other, and we try to stay in contact as much as we can.
And you mentioned just how you guys have been able to stay in contact. You're FaceTiming, Zooming. We've seen a few Zoom pictures on social media. We've seen you guys stay in touch. And, it's kind of funny you mentioned that. I look at your guys' team. You guys seem to be one of the tightest knit programs at Indiana. You guys really seem close. You seem close together, whether it be on the floor or off the floor. How do you guys maintain that throughout a year where there's so many ups and downs? And how do you guys go about keeping that teammate chemistry so high?
I mean, I think it's just the character of the girls that we have on our team. There's no drama whatsoever, whether we, go on a 3-game losing streak or just, be a top 5 team in the nation where, treat each other the same, and we all have the same end goal, and we just want to work with each other to help each other to achieve our goals together as a team.
Grace, I've been meaning to ask you this question, and a lot of the upperclassmen this question when it comes to the success that you currently are having as a team. But when you got recruited to Indiana, you look back at what Coach Morin has done in now 6 seasons with this program, and just the rungs of success that she's gone up from going to the WNIT, then obviously winning the WNIT before you've arrived, and now going to the NCAA tournament, as close as we can get to going in 2 straight years with you on campus. At what point did Indiana and the success and the culture and what Coach Morin in this program was building, at what point was the turning point that you clearly made the decision that Indiana is going to be the place that you want to play in college?
So I knew they were in, one of my top 3 schools for a long time, way before my junior season. But I think I came to Hoosier Hysteria, and that was kind of my first glimpse of what Hoosier Nation is all about. And I got to meet some of the players and just talk with the coaches. And I think just the environment and the people was just something that I thought I could thrive in, and I really wanted to just be a part of the family. And there's no better place to play basketball, and there's no other people that I'd rather be playing with and playing for. So, it's just the perfect fit, and I made the right choice.
When you came to Indiana, obviously your team has just exploded in the past 2 years, even from being, kind of flirting with that top 25 to being a constant top 20 team in the nation this past season. Were you expecting that when you committed, or did you think it was going to take more time?
No, I always expected it. And I think, Coach Moore expects to be top 25 team year in and year out. And I think she's raised our program to be that. I mean, we set expectations for ourselves, and we have high standards, and we just try to meet those every single day, and it obviously pays off in the end. So it's not really a surprise to me.
How can you summarize what playing for Coach Morin is like? Give us a player insight of what it's like to play under Coach Morin.
I mean, she's super competitive, which is what I love so much about her. But really, my favorite thing about her is that she cares so much about us as people, and she really cares about us, and we all know that. We all know that she loves us, so we're really willing to run through a wall for her, willing to do anything for her, willing to fight for her. And just the person that she is off the court is what I love the most about her.
And now, Grace, we've been talking a lot of basketball, which is great, but, there's not a lot of basketball going on right now. So we kind of want to jump gears. We want to get to know Grace Berger, the person. We want to know a little bit more about you. So go ahead, tell us, what has been your go-to quarantine activity that's not basketball related? Is it, spending family game nights? Is it watching movies? What's your go-to?
I'd say spending time with my dogs. So I have 2 dogs, a golden doodle and a Maltese, and I take them on a lot of walks. I play fetch with them in the backyard, and I just love being around them. And so that has been my favorite part about quarantine.
Okay, wait, I have to ask, what are the dogs' names? We have to know the dogs' names.
Charlie and Jazzy.
Good. Those are good dogs.
Yes.
Definitely a dog-friendly show, as we learned just before we press record, which is always a positive thing. You mentioned you're a very competitive person, Grace, and Griffin brought up playing maybe game nights or something like that. Are you a game person when it comes to card games, board games, and are you very competitive, or maybe as competitive as you are on the floor in anything that you do?
I wouldn't say that. I'm much more competitive in basketball, and everything else like card games, I can just take it or leave it. I just kind of play for fun, but basketball is obviously a whole new ball game.
Well, what's the go-to, if there is a family game night or a card game, what is the go-to game of choice for Grace Berger?
Probably Uno.
Classic.
Yeah.
We're going to do a bit of a rapid fire here, Grace, and some will be, we'll call it sports, basketball-ish related, but not directly to your game and the women's basketball program. But again, just to get to know you a little bit better. So we'll call it unofficial 30 seconds or so to expand on however much you want to. But as you grew up in the game of basketball or just the game of sports, what kind of professional sports were your favorite? What teams were your favorite to follow?
The Boston Celtics, my favorite team still, yes.
And that's the Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, those Boston Celtics?
Yes, that's when it started.
How about other sports?
I'm not really into other sports. I'm a feeder fan for the WNBA, and then a Bengals fan for the NFL just because they're close, but I'm not that into it.
I love asking athletes this question because I find that no one has the same answer whatsoever. What is your favorite Big Ten venue to play in that is not Assembly Hall?
I would say the Barn at Minnesota. It's pretty cool environment.
It's very unique. That's what I like about the Barn. It's got that old feel, the bleacher seats in a lot of different areas. We were there, I guess, towards the end of the season, Grace, with a few games left, and I took the time to walk around and sit in the different seats. I like the Barn a lot. There are some very tough spectator positions is the way that I'll describe it. There's some the beams that you can sit directly behind. Not a great seat for basketball, but a very, very cool venue. I like that answer a lot. Walking around campus or being on campus, what is your favorite spot on campus? And I'm going to toss a bit in here. You can't say Assembly Hall or Cook Hall.
Okay. Starbucks at the IMU is my go-to.
What's your go-to Starbucks order at the IMU?
Vanilla latte.
Classic, classic. All right. Favorite place to eat in Bloomington? Can be on or off campus, wherever you want.
Probably Three Amigos is my favorite restaurant.
So there's some solid Mexican cuisine in Bloomington. Three Amigos, an excellent choice. All right, for your teammates, who's the funniest teammate in the locker room?
They're all pretty funny, but I'd have to say Kiana.
Kiana, okay. I could see that. Grace, Greg and I were talking about before you came on just kind of what this uniform would look like. We know what the red looks like. We know what the white looks like. What would an IU alternate uniform look like in your imagination?
Oh, I don't know. I think some of the old school vibes we could get going on, and that would be pretty cool.
You think of any candy stripes, like candy stripe jerseys, or is that just too much?
I mean, I don't think it's too much. I think it'd be awesome. I think we should try it.
There we go.
We'll put in a word with the North End Zone folks and see if we can get that rolling for next season. The ultimate sports debate, Grace, and we don't need a long drawn out answer as many sports arguments get to this. LeBron or MJ?
I'm going MJ.
Have you been watching the documentary?
Yes, I have.
And general thoughts?
I love it. It's what I look forward to every week. So I'm sad it's almost ending.
It's the little things when it comes to sports, but that I think dropped at the perfect time for we sports fans, no doubt. Although the Pacers episode from the '98 Eastern Conference Finals is next week, and as a Pacers fan, I'm not sure I'm looking forward to that. Re-watching that again. I was only 7 at the time. You guys, I don't even think you guys were born then. It makes me feel old, but not looking forward to that part on Sunday.
We're just going to skip that part, Greg. We're not going to watch that Pacers part.
I appreciate it.
Going into sports, old memories and all that, Grace, what is your favorite all-time sports memory? It could be from watching the TV at home or watching it live.
I would say watching the Celtics win the 2008 NBA championship, because that was when I really became a fan. I fell in love with those guys and the team and the franchise. So that's definitely the memory that sticks out.
Last one we have for you here, Grace. Do you have – this is a 2-part question. What's your favorite pregame meal or snack? And do you have any specific game day superstitions or rituals?
I would say peanut butter and jelly. I have one before every game and at halftime of every game. So definitely that. And then I have probably too many superstitions to count, honestly. I have to listen to certain songs and drink coffee before every game and tie my left shoe before my right shoe. So it's a bunch of little things that I have to do.
Some of the best athletes have the best superstitions, I think. And I think Grace Berger is par for the course there. And I say par on the course because, Grace, I didn't know this until earlier this week. Didn't know you were a golfer in high school. So I got to ask, favorite golfer of all time?
Justin Thomas is from Louisville. So he's definitely my favorite.
Keep it Louisville blood. Love that. Greg, anything else?
No others that I have off the cuff. What, for fans out there watching, Grace, give us one more fun fact about Grace Berger that we don't know, that fans don't know. Give us something unique that we don't know about Grace Berger.
I'm a vegetarian, and so I haven't eaten meat pretty much for the majority of my life. So that's pretty unique, I'd say.
Unique indeed. I did not know that. Very good. Well, Grace, we really appreciate you taking some time. Stay safe and stay busy. I know that can be a challenge for a lot of people during all this being at home, and we hope to see you back in Bloomington and on the court here in the next few months. Grace, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.